And welcome back to the Coach Brian Moore Show, visiting now with our defensive coordinator for the Foley Lions, Coach Carson Hunter. And Coach, first of all, welcome to Lionland. It's great to have you here. Look forward to getting to know your family. We've got to know your son a little bit out on the football field, one of your kids. So great to have you here in Lionland.
Glad to be here. Really appreciate it. We feel super blessed to be a part of what's going on here.
And let's start out with just like we've done with Coach Moore and Coach Atkins. Tell us a little bit about your family. I know you're a big family man, and it's very very important to you.
Big in every sense of the word,
Yeah.
and blessed in every sense of the word. I'm married to my brilliant, beautiful bride, Alex. She's a teacher over at Magnolia Elementary,
Nice.
and she took a post there, I guess, about 5 years ago when we came down here. We moved here to Foley, and was still serving over at the University of West Florida as one of the assistant coaches, making that commute every day. And then she was able to get on at Magnolia School, where my oldest son Liam was attending, as well as my oldest daughter Izzy, and then Naomi. And in that time, our youngest daughter Macy has begun over at Magnolia. Liam's matriculated to middle school and is now an eighth grader here at Foley Middle. And then we were blessed this last spring with the newest and final addition, baby Hawk. Hawk Hunter is the little baby getting carried around the field house right now.
So, and you mentioned your oldest son, who's an eighth grader.
Yes,
right?
sir. He's class of 2030, which feels weird to say, but he's an eighth grader. He'll be coming up next year, going through spring practice with our eighth and rising ninth graders here in a couple of weeks, and then doing summer workouts with his class. And then honestly doing the after school workouts right now has been going absolutely great. There's 5-6 dozen kids in there 2 days a week, learning how to lift, being able to connect with one another, and just start to build some confidence in the things you need to do to really grow in your self-discipline and become a better football player.
A little bit more about your experience, your background in coaching. I know you're a veteran coach. You bring a lot of experience in here. And first of all, it's neat to me that when you were coaching in Pensacola, and that's a 50-minute drive
Right.
every day at least over to the University of West Florida. But you chose to live right here in Foley, in
Absolutely.
Baldwin County that whole time, and that's special to me as a longtime Foley guy, lifelong Foley guy. But your background in coaching, you served there as a member of the defensive staff there,
Yes, sir.
and some great times there for West Florida. That program, as we just saw, has moved up to Division One now. You know, from
Did they
Division
really?
Two to
Oh,
Division
good.
One.
It
I know
needed
you've
to.
been busy over
No,
here.
I didn't
Yeah,
realize
they
that.
just announced last week that they're
That's
moving
great
to,
for Nobles and the guys, man.
It is.
That was
So
a move they needed to make.
big move, and so that program has done a lot in a very short time. But before then, you've been head coach at junior college from Memphis, Tennessee, originally. Though, right?
Originally, yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, we're glad that you've settled in here on the Alabama Gulf Coast. First of all, we'll talk to you about some of the players and that kind of thing here in just a minute. But your defensive staff and Coach Moore mentioned some of those guys earlier.
These guys are doing a great job. We're going a million miles an hour, and they're doing an awesome job approaching it with the right level of humility and engagement. We've got some veteran guys, and we've got some young guys, really good mix, right? We have Coach Jason Barnett and Coach Ed Brown are both helping up with the defensive front. Those guys have been coordinators. They've been head coaches. They've been around this area for a long time. I've recruited this area for a long time as a college coach. That's actually why we ended up wanting to move here, because I kept
That's how you're
recruiting
familiar
down here and said, trust me, you're going to like this place. My wife finally told me I was right about something. But we've got Ed Brown and Jason Barnett, who've been down here for a long time and already have some rapport established with the players. Coach Joyner Stewart's helping on the defensive front, coaching the defensive line as well. He's a Foley guy. You can tell it means a heck of a lot to him. He's the one we walk in the field house every single day. He's solving some problem or putting something together, fixing something, man. And you need guys like that. You need guys who literally are humble and hardworking enough to say, how can we go make this thing better today, man? And we've had just great buy-in from those guys who were here before and have been in a lot of different systems, and probably now are in it deeper than they've ever been before, because the bar is going to continue to be raised every single day. Very grateful that Coach Moore's trusting me with this opportunity, trusting us with this opportunity, and it's not one we take lightly, but we're always going to make sure we have a comprehensive plan for every situation, right? And then that plan can always adapt to whatever challenges may arise, right? So there's a whole lot of work that goes into that for the coaches during this stretch of the year, where they're having to learn new systems, learn new verbiage, learn new ways of communicating, learn just how consistently we're going to have to approach all of the checks and everything we're going to make. And they've done an awesome job with that. We've also brought on one of Coach Moore's former players, Coach Sheldrick Cherry, who's done a great job. This is his first stint, but man, talk about a guy who's great when it comes to connection, tremendous energy, great humility about him when it comes to learning how are we doing it here, how are we communicating these defensive concepts to our players so we can all be on the same page and speak the same language. But those guys are doing a great job, and I think we're gradually starting to see the kids pick up on a little bit more and more of what we're trying to teach, preach, and model for them. And that's only going to get better as time keeps going on.
What can you share with us in terms of what a Carson Hunter defense looks like? What do you like your defense to look like, scheme-wise? Can you share some things?
Sure. Well, the defense is just, at its essence, we're just going to run and hit. And I'm not trying to oversimplify that. Like, it's going to look different depending on who our players are and really the mix of guys you have in a given year, a given week sometimes as the season goes on, man. I mean, we're not just building this thing to go out and win the spring game, win opening weekend. Coach Moore's calendar runs all the way through the first week of December. So this is about that peak at Halloween, practice on Thanksgiving morning, and be one of the last two standing the first week of December. Well, the makeup of a team is going to change over the course of 15, 17 plus weeks, right? There's going to be young guys that develop that all of a sudden become really good pieces that can help the team go out there and play great defense, play great football, right? There's unfortunately part of the game's injury, and there's going to be guys who get beat up and maybe on the shelf for a little while. We're still going to have to go out and have a great plan. No matter who's available, no matter how we're lining up, man, we're going to make sure we got 11, ideally 14, 15, 17 guys that are all really good at running and hitting, guys that will swarm attack the football, guys that understand that we got to knock back up front and knock back at the point, guys that understand how to build the wall and be sound in the RPO run game, right? And then the last and definitely not least part is guys who are just hell-bent on getting the football back, guys who will go punch it out, rake it out, knock it out, pick it up, run it in. I mean, we've gone on record that if anybody has a football at the football field, whether that's you or that's Coach Webb, you go punch that thing out of their hands and go run in for a touchdown. And if you breed that mindset and we check those other boxes every single day on tape, we can line up in a mint front nickel 3-4. We can line up in a 2-4-5. If they get big, we'll get bigger, right? We'll line up in a Frank Beamer wide tackle 6 if we need to. But we're going to make sure we're out there getting that wall built, knocking them back, swarm attacking, and getting our football back.
You mentioned being familiar with Baldwin County from your recruiting
Yes,
efforts
sir.
at West Florida, but Friday nights are no stranger to you either, because you actually served as defensive coordinator at Daphne High
Yes,
School
sir.
along the way. So, as far as looking at our players right now and evaluating where things right now from terms of where we need to be, to be ready for Friday. I know there's a lot of work to be done, but who are some of the guys? Let's just go there. Who are
Sure.
some of the guys that have really impressed you in these early sessions that you've had?
These guys have given like tremendous effort. They really have. They practice very, very hard. Whatever we ask them to do, they do it very, very hard. I think that starting up front, because that's really where ball games are won and lost when the weather changes and it matters most, right? We've had just tremendous effort and buy-in out of some guys like Jaden Holly, who I think's played on both sides of the line in his time here, right? He's settled in over on the defensive line and done just an outstanding job. James Solomon is doing a really good job working his tail off in the classroom to get in good shape there. And he's a guy who came to us from the basketball court, hadn't played for a very long time, right? But he's a really big, strong kid who runs very hard after the football, and we're teaching him a lot of the things he needs to know to do them at a high level. A guy named Jaden Stowe's coming back out. He's a guy who hasn't played in a little while. I think he left, and now he's coming back. He's a very gifted kid, and in terms of his quickness, his speed, his length, the range he has. And I really believe that core of guys are a few pieces away, that there's guys on this campus that can really be the difference to come into that unit with those same young men I just mentioned and honestly put us in position to flip this thing a lot quicker than folks are expecting. Behind them, love our linebacking core. I really do. I think those guys are on level with everybody in the region. I know that's a lot to put on those guys, but I can look at them physically and the things they can do, the way they can close space, the way they can accelerate their feet and come to balance with a near leg and get in a good tackle position. I think that AP is an absolute weapon.
Adrian Pickens.
Adrian Pickens is an absolute weapon. I know he did a really good job rushing the passer and playing to the line of scrimmage the last few years here. Made the scouting report where I was before, right? But we've stood him up and we're cutting the guy loose. I mean, he's a 6 foot, 210-pound kid that I think is one of the 3 fastest guys on the team.
Yeah,
One of the
terrific young
strongest
man
kids in
too.
there.
Yeah.
Great, hard-working kid, man. Likes to run, likes to hit. Smart kid. He's picking it up fast. So we're going to use him in a variety of ways,
Mm-hmm.
right? He'll do the things he used to do, but he'll do a little bit more. I know Malachi Dredd was a really good running back for us here last year. He's also really, really good.
He's a football player. He
Man,
can play well wherever
he's
you
a
put
ball
him. Pretty
player.
much. Yeah,
He's a ball player, and excited about him. Excited about Rilo Henderson too. I know he's in Malachi's class, and I think he's a guy that's going to keep getting better and be able to help and kind of be that third for those two inside linebacker spots, be a swing guy for us in some other roles. And then on the back end, Tay Jacobs is coming back. He's a very gifted athlete, very quick, very agile kid. He seems very eager to go and attack the football, get to keep helping that guy learn how we do things in a championship fashion, how champions behave, how champions practice, right? Because he's got all the natural skill sets to be, I think, a really, really good football player for us, right? Just has to learn how to do things every single day so that's all going to show up at the most important times, right? Glass has done a great job for us, picking up, kind of cross-trained him. He's played some corner, played some nickel, played some safety, and he's done really well at all of them. And then the guy just absolutely jumped off tapes, Jamar Potter. I mean, I was able to work with Potter when he was a young man at Daphne as, I believe, a freshman, right? He was out there on the practice squad for us and had a relationship with him before. Of course, I think it was a junior varsity game. We came over here last year and look out and see him playing X receiver and defensive back. I'm like, dude, you're back, right? And he's catching balls on our head on, third down to go in for a touchdown. But he's playing safety for us, and, man, he is as rangy as anybody as I've been around in a minute. He really does a great job and picking it up really quick, trying his absolute hardest to lead the team through action, not just running his mouth all the time, right? But really excited about those guys. I think, again, there's a few more pieces in the locker room and in the hallways here that when their other sports get done, we get them all out playing together. We're going to be able to put something together everybody here can be proud of.
And that's something that we haven't seen completely because you're in that time of year where you have soccer and baseball and track and all these things, and we have some multi-sport athletes, which is wonderful. We certainly like to see that, but so we'll get a little bit different look when those sports conclude, and we'll see everybody, I guess,
Absolutely.
at some point during spring, right?
Yes, sir.
And then the one of the neat things too to me about high school football and high school sports that I enjoy is watching these kids come in, and you're seeing them now come in for those middle school workouts, and then how they develop, and you've seen them on Friday nights as ninth graders, and then you see them again as seniors and what they become, and nobody does more to develop an athlete than high school coaches. Doesn't happen like it happens in high school at any other level. So you guys take them from one size to another size, literally. So it's fun to watch all that, and looking forward to seeing your staff and this Foley staff work and build this football team in all the right ways. It's been fun to see the numbers increase, and you mentioned a few more that have come out, and keep working those hallways, and we'll see more, right?
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Coach Carson Hunter, we appreciate it and look forward to getting to know your family better as time marches on, and look forward to watching the Lions in spring practice coming up.
Thanks a ton for having us, man.
That'll wrap it up for the Coach Brian Moore Show. I'm Clark Stewart. We thank you.